Hello and welcome viewers to the Policybazaar Show, where experts help us learn everything that there is to insurance. I'm Chaiti Narula and welcome. Every week we shine light on an important topic for all you viewers. Health is top priority today than any time before. And not just employees, but employers should also watch out for their workers. And hence, today's topic is want a healthy workforce? Cover your employees under group health insurance. Joining me today to throw light on this very subject, we have Tarun Mathur, Chief Business Officer, General Insurance at Policybazaar.com, who's joining us for the second time. Welcome to the show, Tarun, once again.
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy to be here.
The privilege is all ours. Tarun is the co-founder and CBO of Policybazaar.com. His ideation, his ability to motivate his peers and seamless execution capability has propelled him to the CXO level in the capacity of Chief Business Officer of the General Insurance Division. He's an expert in the field of insurance. Tarun holds extensive knowledge of the consumer financial space in India. And joining Tarun as well in today's show is Dr. Bhabatosh Mishra, Director, Underwriting Products and Claims, Max Bupa Health Insurance. Welcome to the show, Dr. Mishra.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. Thank you.
So happy to have you on the show as well. Dr. Mishra, for our viewers, is an insurance industry veteran with almost 2 decades of experience across life, general and health insurance, out of which more than 17 years have been in the health insurance. He's bringing a rich and varied perspective, having handled several portfolios, including underwriting products, claims, operations, customer service, and innovation as well. Welcome to the show once again, Dr. Mishra. Now, my first question is to Tarun. Tarun, while it is important to cover yourself under an individual health insurance policy, why, according to you, is it equally important for employers to cover their employees under group health insurance, especially during tough times like the ongoing COVID pandemic, and we've seen the kind of stress it has on employers and the employees both?
So I think that this is it's not about insurance at all. I think this is more about how much you care for your employees, right? If you go to all the HR sessions that we have every time, let's say any leader across the world kind of speaks to his or her employees, the first thing we say is that we are family. Now, if you are family, the first thing you need to do is care. And how do you care? You really take care of the things that actually matter. You don't spoil, right? It's like kids. You don't spoil your kids, but you take care of them. And I think that when you have an organizations that's small or large, the one thing you must do is take care if something happens to them. See, because a health insurance, what does it do? It actually protects you from emergencies or things that go out of budget. So if I end up in a hospital, my salary, let's say, is 20,000 rupees, and the hospital bill is 2 lakh rupees, how will I actually end up paying it? And most of the employee workforce in a lot of organizations is actually quite young, not that serious about buying individual health insurance. While of course I would say that you should, but people don't. And as an employer, as somebody, as the person entrusted with taking care, I think it's very important to make sure that you're financially covered in the case of any health emergency. And I think every employer should look at it and think about it, because it's not just loss of profit or loss of work. It's also about how much you invest behind your employees and how you're taking care of them. I think that's the point for me.
It's a very valid point that you bring up, Tarun. If employers really think that their employees are like family, they should go and opt for this. Now, if I could bring in Dr. Mishra on this, why, according to you, is it equally important for employers to cover their employees under group health insurance, especially during tough times like COVID-19 pandemic?
See, among several things, one very important thing the COVID pandemic unfortunately has taught us, and specifically the employers, is what they have been saying for decades. What is a company's true assets? And these are none but employees. Now, during COVID times, many companies, their buildings, their offices, their IT systems are lying vacant out there. But still, their employees have been able to productively contribute to the company and its growth working from home. And that is where the truth of the matter is. And it has brought a pandemic for everybody to realize it even more than ever before, that the true asset is employees and their dependents. And obviously, what would you do if you realize something is your true asset is to protect it? And no bigger protection than protecting health of these employees and their family members. That not just brings peace, but keeps them engaged, keeps them productive and gainfully engaged for the company and perhaps for themselves as well. And health insurance is one such protection. On a lighter note, we only die once but live a life where we can face multiple health events. And health insurance comes as a extremely important, powerful tool to protect us against the vagaries of health and life. Increasingly, newer treatments, modern treatments are available, and just having access to good hospitals is not good enough. Affordability is equal, and I would say even a bigger concern in many parts of our country, and health insurance is not comparable to any as far as that affordability protection is concerned. A lot of people, as you know, either liquidate their assets or borrow money just for availing good quality and basic quality treatments even. And that is why it's very important we wake up to this risk mitigation measure more and more as employers, as companies, for our employees.
Well, nothing is more important than health, and you said it right. Health is indeed wealth. That's how the old adage really goes. Moving on, Dr. Mishra, what is the scope or say the extent of a coverage of a group health insurance policy?
The group health insurance is a very, very flexible plan, and it offers actually wide range of choices, variety of sum insureds. Unfortunately, many employers so far has taught treated this as a thing to do, kind of a tick box. Many do take it very seriously, but I would say a large segment of them possibly don't and offer very low value sum insured to their employee groups and their dependents. And thus, for vast majority of group insurance, employer-employee ones, the sum insured tends to be 2 to 3 lakh rupees for family, which for these times is grossly, I would say, inadequate. I would recommend true protection is very important and push for at least a 10 lakhs of coverage. We have dual problem. One is the low penetration of health insurance, but equal and perhaps bigger problem is under insurance. And that is something that we need to pay attention to.
Tarun, now, what are some prominent benefits or advantages of group health insurance, and what are the different kinds of coverage available for the taking out there for viewers?
I'll take that question and I'll break that question down in two parts. What are the advantages is what I'll cover first. So in terms of advantages, I think, there are multiple points, right? When you buy as an employer for your employees, they don't need to go through any medical screening. It is much cheaper than a retail health policy in comparison. It's a great retention tool for employers. It helps to reduce the company's liability and risk towards taking care of the employee in case of a health emergency. And what I love the most about the product itself is that it's very modular in nature. And that will take me towards the benefit side, right? See, it's like Lego. We've all been brought up, right? We can create anything out of Lego, right? You just take the blocks, you make them together, you can make a house, you can make a dinosaur, etc. And that's how the whole group health insurance policy works for every employer an employee. So what you could do is you can take the basic hospitalization cover, you can put maternity on top. You could say that maternity is going to be, we're going to wait for it. Let's say the employee has to be 9 months into the system for them to be eligible for a maternity cover. You could say that, okay, we will cover 30 days and 60 days of pre-post or 90 days and 90 days of pre-post. It's all customizable. You can just keep adding the covers. You could say, I want an OPD benefit for my employees. And as you keep adding or reducing or putting some measures, the premium just varies. So it's very easy, right? It's like a shopping cart. You keep adding stuff, you can see the pricing, you can see what's affordable, what's not affordable. So the smaller insurers will, the smaller companies or small and medium enterprises might just go for a very basic cover, which covers in the event of somebody getting hospitalized. Now, a larger company may want to do a more holistic approach and say, okay, I will not just cover hospitalization, I will also cover maternity, I will also cover the OPD benefit. I may also give some wellness benefits, like getting a medical checkup done every 1 year or 2 years. So the modularity of the product makes it very, very strong, and the features can range anything from emergency to actually prevention or wellness, and you've got a whole plethora of things that you can have in between. So I think the modularity stands out for me.
Right. Now moving on to Dr. Mishra, and this is a very important question that everyone wants to have an answer to. Is a group health insurance cover the same across the industry, or can an employer customize the policy as per the specific needs and requirements of the employees as well?
Yeah, that's one of the strengths and beauty of group insurance. It's very flexible and customizable. Obviously, the requirements of a technology industry, a company in tech domain, has specific requirements because of the workforce there as compared to somebody who's engaged in a manufacturing. And group insurance policies precisely help them customize it to the need of their employee group. Not just the insurance part, but there is flexibility in designing wellness programs around it as well to keep the employees and their families healthy. Uh, Host of benefits, unlike in retail, which is much more rigid and prefabricated plans. Group insurance offers selection of lot of benefits, bouquet of lot of benefits, also to achieve certain price points that the corporates desire, making a variety of plans, one to fit the need of the employee group, to fit the budget that the corporate has, and fit the wellness agenda they want to pursue with their employees. All these three are possible with group plans.
Absolutely. That's a very interesting insight right there. We'll now move on to Tarun. Tarun, what are the key benefits of buying group health insurance policy for the employees from Policybazaar specifically?
So, Jyoti, at heart, Policybazaar only excels in, or only wants to excel in one field, which is to make sure that there is good and you know there is something good. There's a good comparison that is that's brought forward for somebody who's comparing products, and we are able to help shortlist what is the best plan for you. And how do we do that? We segment customers. Like I said before, there's a small enterprise, and there are large enterprise, and there are really large corporates or MNCs. Right? What we're able to do is find out what are the kind of products that best suit, be able to give you choices from multiple companies, right, up to about 7 to 10 or 15 companies, and then help you choose basis what you need and where you're comfortable with, let's say, a brand or a particular hospital. We're able to make you choose what suits you best. And I think that's where our strength lies, and that's why more and more people are getting engaged with us, because what we're doing is not just saying, okay, here's a site, we'll put a comparison, you buy on your own. We're also behind the scene trying to make sure that we give you the service that's required from an employer's perspective to help his employees when they're in the time of claim. And I think the largest thing is to buy right and to make sure that everything that you wanted covered for your employees is there mentioned in the policy, and the pricing, because the fact that there are 20 companies almost bidding for the employer's business, the pricing is also right and you get the best deal in the market. I think that's what we're about.
And Dr. Babatosh, what are the key differences between an individual health cover and a group health cover with respect to the waiting period, the coverage for pre-existing ailments, the maternity benefits, and many other benefits as well?
There's a lot of difference. Let's start with how these are treated. In a retail cover, each individual is underwritten or risk assessed individually. Whereas in a group insurance, the entire employee group and their dependents are priced for us at one go. And thus that brings in a lot of pricing advantage because an insurance company doesn't have to source independently, individually, multiple policies. One policy perhaps gets hundreds and several thousands of members at times. So there is a pricing advantage. Secondly, because that entire group without what you call as adverse selection or moral hazard gets covered, which is they are not selecting insurance on their own, but coming as a group entirely. Thus, typically in all group insurance, the waiting periods are almost waived or they are not applicable, whether it is 30 days waiting period or disease specific waiting period or even pre-existing diseases. These are all covered from day one. That awards tremendous advantage to group insurance plans at a very affordable nominal premium as compared to retail plans.
Right, that's a very interesting insight as well. We certainly hope that our viewers have been paying attention to all of what Dr. Babatosh and Tarun have been saying on this. With that, it's time for a very short commercial break here on India Today. Stay with us. We're going to be right back on the Policybazaar Show. Thanks Thanks for staying with us here on the Policybazaar Show. Welcome back. Today we're joined by experts Tarun Mathur from Policybazaar.com and Dr. Bhabatosh Mishra from Max Bupa Health Insurance. Tarun, if you could please elaborate a bit on the claim processes for both the cashless treatment and reimbursement claims as well. That's a bit of an area of confusion for everyone always.
So I think this is the simplest question of the day because it's rather easy to claim health insurance. You get support at the hospital. You can choose to call Policybazaar or your insurer. And either ways, one will be able to help you. From a cashless perspective, I think it's very important that you call up your provider like Policybazaar or the insurance company because they would be able to direct you to the hospital where there's a cashless tie-up and there's a cashless treatment available. And they'll be able to tell you what the best treatment available for whatever ailment that you have. So I would implore people to just call before you kind of end up in hospital. But if you are in the hospital, it is an emergency, or you're not able to get through. When you get there, all you need to do is you've got a card. It could be an e-card, which is available on the app if you buy from Policybazaar. And all you need to do is just show it to the there's a TPA desk in each of the hospitals. You just show that, and then your work gets done. So basically, what will happen at the back is the basis whatever the ailments and whatever the cost of the treatment is. That will go to the insurance company who will give you a kind of pre-approval, and when whatever treatment is there is completed, the money is automatically transferred into the hospital's account. So broadly, you don't have to worry about anything. However, there are cases where patients end up in hospital and there is no cashless tie-up or they're not able to kind of initiate it. The reimbursement process, all it requires is you have to have a claim form that you need to fill up. You could do that digitally through the Policybazaar app, like I said, or you could visit one of the branches or at the insurance company and they'll be able to send you a form. You fill up the claim form. You will also have a list of documents there that are mentioned, which basically requires your invoices that you got from the hospital to be attached and sent to the insurance company via the app that I mentioned. And the reimbursement, depending on from company to company, and there might be a few follow-up questions, but broadly in about 3 to 4 days, the money will hit your account.
Right. Continuing with you, Dr. Mishra, are there any specific eligibility criteria like a minimum number of employees, the ratio between employee and spouse, etc., for any employer to buy group health cover for their employees?
Yes, most of the companies have a minimum criteria which is as low as just 7 employees, and there is no ratio between dependents and the primary employee. So employee can get to insure his spouse, children, and even parents, and in certain cases parents-in-laws as well, into the same policy. Because these are customizable products, it depends on what is the kind of coverage that the employer wants to extend to the employee group, which includes the employee and its his or her family members as well.
Tarun, if you could please share some details on the endorsement process as well.
So like in the case of an employer-employee setup, what you see most is a lot of employees will leave and a lot of employees will join. Also, a lot of employees may have kids, may get married, so they need to add someone or delete someone. So it's basically about addition, deletion, modification that has to happen during the course of the policy. With Policybazaar, what you have is an app that we've built out, like I said, and the Corporate Connect app allows a user to basically say, listen, I got married, here's the name of my wife, this is her age, submit, and it goes to the at the back, and within a day's time, you will get the card on your same app of let's say the new member you added. Now, when I had my son, I can give you my own example. All I had to do was go to the app, add my son's name. Fortunately, we had a name on day 2, and we entered that this is his date of birth, and the next day I got a card for him. It's just that simple. Sometimes also what happens is that we in India we all have a huge problem with misspelling of names, right? Like my name has sometimes been my last name is always misspelled, right? And all you need to do is again go to the app, say there's an error, and they will change it immediately. So basically, like you don't have a problem when you end up in a hospital. So it's rather simple. Put it.
Oh, that's interesting, because I hope that everyone has made the respective notes on the inputs that have been given, and very valuable ones while added by both of you. Now for our viewers, we've got a brand new segment. It's called Mythbusters. It is a segment where we're going to be debunking certain myths, clouding people's mind, their knowledge and judgment, leading them to ignore some vital information or even worse, make bad decisions. Let's get to today's myth. Today's myth is a group health cover only covers the individual and not the dependents. We'll start with you, Dr. Mishra, if you could debunk that myth for us.
Well, that's certainly not correct. Group insurance can cover wide number of dependents of an employee, spouse, children, parents, and even parents-in-laws. Certainly a myth.
All right, Tarun, what do you have to say about this?
Of course, it's a myth, and Dr. Bahadur got it right. My point is, it can cover anyone, including your mother-in-law. Whether you want to or not want to, that's the employer's choice. I'll leave it at that.
All right, we hope that clears all the clouds of doubt that our viewers would have in their mind. And thank you so much for debunking that particular myth for our viewers as well. If you have any more questions, please feel free to mail them to us at policybazaarshow@policybazaar.com. With that, we come to an end of this episode. Thank you so much, Tarun Mathur and Dr. Babatosh Mishra, for joining us today. That's all that we have this week for you viewers. Keep watching the Policy Bazaar Show. This is me, Chaiti Narula, signing off.